Before we start, are there any other questions? I'll wait just a minute for the people. Or if I could ask maybe some of the kiddos, what do you think you already know about a rescue? Do you have an answer?
What do you know about rescues, Carter? Do you know something?
I forgot.
You forgot. Okay.
They take in animals that are found.
Okay. That's one thing that we do, animals that are stray or lost. First of all, we always try to find the owner. So we cannot try to adopt a pet out for at least 30 days. So we make sure there's time for the owner to connect with us and find their pet. Okay. Anything else you think you know or might have heard about a rescue?
You provide shelter, food, and water tools.
Okay, yeah. Very important, things that all living things need, shelter, food, water, and hopefully a little love along the way.
Medical stuff if they need it.
Yes.
Medical treatment.
Yeah, we do provide medical treatment for our pets.
For people to adopt them.
Yeah, and what we're doing is looking for people to adopt them.
Do you ever have any animals that come in that you decide would never go up for adoption? I mean, are some of them just too shy, or?
One of the reasons that we take them into a home is to socialize them, to get them to be around humans and to get comfortable with people. So the only time we would find a pet that is unadoptable would be if the pet is diagnosed with some kind of an illness that the pet is not going to live for a long time, and then we hope one of our volunteers will do a forever foster, and they will take care of that animal and give it love and comfort in a home until it passes. So, other questions or comments?
What is the average cost to adopt an animal?
Okay, that's a great question. And we have a website, which I think we're going to put up later. Basically, because we are nonprofit, we're a tax-deductible organization. When you adopt a pet and you pay the suggested adoption fee, you can use that for a tax deduction, usually. Puppies are more than older senior dogs, so puppies depends on the breed. I mean, doodle dogs are so very popular. They are gonna, the adoption fee is gonna be greater for those. My son and daughter-in-law have 2 sheepadoodles that they bought from a reputable breeder, and I'm gonna say they probably paid $1,900 each for those. Yeah, doodles are expensive. And so I think the most expensive pet we've had has been like $1,200, but that would be a puppy and a doodle. So generally, I would say puppies are going to be 4 to 6, your typical puppies. Adult dogs, $350 to $500, and senior dogs, maybe $250. So it all depends on a lot of factors. Hi, come on in.
Hello. Hi, Cuddle.
Question?
So like with your shelter, how many dogs are you able to hold at a time?
Okay, so what's
Like the capacity.
maximum number
Yeah.
of pets we could have at a time? Okay, and the important thing to note is that we're not a shelter, we're not a humane society, we do not have a central location. We don't have a building where the pets all live, so we haven't really started formally yet, but I'm just talk to you now. Is like as a rescue organization, when we intake pets, we're seeing if one of our volunteers can house that pet in the house, and the pet would live with that family until adopted. So some of our pets, because we're full capacity now, all of our foster homes are full, and so we can do a courtesy post, which means an owner, for many reasons, will say, I can no longer keep my pet. Can you help me find a loving, a secure home for my pet? And we can do a courtesy post, and that means we use all of our advertising, all of our means. We partner with that pet owner and go through our application process. We do vetting history, etc. We help that owner find a new home, and we're a partner, and they get to help decide what's a good match for that pet. So they keep the pet in their home until we find that adopting family.
So there's no real like actual capacity. You can't.
No, but it is limited by how many volunteers we have and how many homes we have. So that's where I said, but we can partner with you and help you find a new home. So. Okay.
Well, everybody, we just want to welcome you tonight. This is Trudy from Muddy Paws. We're really glad she could join us tonight. I'm Emily from the Harlan Community Library. I'm the children's librarian here. And tonight we have a few different things happening. So after Trudy's presentation, we will have a craft in the other room, which is we're making toys, cat toys and dog toys for Muddy Paws. So when we get done with them, we will ship them to them, and then they can give them to the foster home so the animals can play with them. So it's a really nice thing you're doing tonight, helping Muddy Paws out. Also, then when we're done with this presentation and we go in the other room, if anyone is interested in the kitten meet and greet, we do have 4 kittens tonight. Right now they're resting, we're keeping them calm and quiet. We will let people come back in, but we're only going to do a few people at a time because we don't want to stress the kittens out. So we'll have people go into the crafting room, and then we'll just call you in like 1 or 2 families at a time, and you can come in here and play with them, okay? All right, I will hand it off to Trudy.
Okay, thank you. And my formal presentation won't be too long, so if you have questions, if you could maybe keep those until the end unless you absolutely say, I can't remember. So then feel free to raise your hands. I should say this is not my typical presentation. My computer got shipped off to the university where I work because they're going to upgrade it. So I may not be as fluent with this presentation as usual, but please bear with me. Okay, so we are a rescue organization and we rescue pets. We are all volunteers, and so one way that you can help a rescue is just if you would like to volunteer. And some people say, oh, but I can't foster, I can't bring a pet into the home, I have 5 dogs, I have, whatever, my husband doesn't want me to foster, but there are so many other jobs. There are many, many things that you can do to help the organization. Some of them you could do right here from your home in Harlan, uploading veterinary records, processing applications. We're always trying to match the perfect adopter with the perfect pet for their home. Our return rate on pets is very low. We offer 30-day return money back guarantee, but because we spend so long matching pets and families together, we have very few that get returned. Okay, and we are a nonprofit, so we are not in the business of selling pets or getting pets to make money. Everybody who helps in our organization just volunteers their time. Okay, and the other thing is we started as a dog rescue, but since that time, our director is very, very animal friendly, and so somebody had white rats, we've had flying squirrels, we've had hedgehogs, we've had ferrets, the cats, the dogs, the guinea pigs, the hamsters. We did have a pot-bellied pig, but that went to a farm where it should happen, but we rescued lots and lots of animals. So check our website sometime and you will see that. Okay, I think I talked a little bit about the difference between shelters and rescues and what we are doing and humane societies. So they typically have, if you've ever been to an animal shelter or a humane society, you go in, you can walk in the back area and see kennels of animals. You can interact with the animals, you can pet them, you can play with them. You can fill out an application and I think take an animal home the same day. Okay, and they all live right there in one place. We have our animals all over in rescue homes and foster homes, so you cannot go to one place and see them, although if you check our website, you'll get some information on that. You will see meet and greets. There'll be activities where you can go and interact with, hold some of our pets, get to know the pets, get to know the volunteers, etc. So you do not, it's not a one-day look at a pet, take it home for Muddy Paws. You would fill out an application, which is on our website. It takes typically about 2 weeks between the time you apply and the time you take a pet into your home. We call your references, we do check for that, and they can be your relatives, we just want to make sure everything is okay. We check vetting history. Have you followed the vet's advice? Do you take your dog's cats or other pets in for monthly preventatives? We're really big on that. If you have an animal over 6 months in your home, has the animal been spayed or neutered? Because that's important to the rescues. So, and then we do actually make a home visit. So we're checking pet safety. So if you are interested in this little tiny Yorkie, we do safety homes and visit and see the fence in the backyard has holes where dogs, so a dog can get through, then that would not be a good home for that dog, or you have to find some way to protect the dog when it's outside. Okay, we also offer extra services, so we have a food pantry. So several years ago during COVID, a lot of people were laid off work, or other things happen all the time, divorces, etc. People lose their jobs. So we have food that is available. If you contact us, we will put you in connection to one of our storage areas and you can get free food. We will help if you have an animal that needs some kind of surgery, some kind of life-saving veterinary service. We can help with that or put you in connection with somebody who can help with that. We also offer free training sessions, and it's important to know that the training sessions are for the adults, for the people in the house, not for the animals. So we're training you to be a good pet owner and pet provider and keep your animals safe and help your animals stop those behaviors. So one thing I'd like to ask here, and especially from the children, so some of the reasons that we get emailed that say, please, we need to have a new home for our pet, are because of the pet's behaviors. So for the children in the audience, put on your thinking cap, what is a behavior that would create a situation where your mom and dad are saying, yeah, we can't really keep this pet?
Scratching your
Yes, especially with cats. Ruining, scratching your furniture, chewing your toys, your shoes. Chewing, okay, that's a problem. Yes.
hurting the family.
Yeah, hurting families, so babies, and they're big dogs, and they're running fast, and they're knocking the baby over. Do you have an answer for them? Oh, can you
Yes, and peeing everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Big, great answer. Yes, because the dog is going to the bathroom, or the cat is going to the bathroom in the house, and who wants that? So, a lot of times we will suggest that the first thing that happens is the pet goes to the veterinarian and make sure there aren't any health issues. But yes, that's definitely one of the reasons why people decide they can't keep the pets. I did say we can help with some medical bills. When our pets come in as rescues, the first thing we do is take them to the vet. They get everything taken care of that needs to be taken care of. I had 2 dogs once that I was fostering. One had a cherry eye, it's like an extra eyelid problem. They had skin conditions, they had infections in their ears. I think it just cost, you can imagine, vet bills for those 2 dogs to be fixed, a whole lot of money. But we took care of all of that before they were adopted out. And so that is how we paid $377,000 in vet bills last year. For some of you, to put that in perspective, and again, we're nonprofit, so we're not doing this to make money, but that would be like sort of, not a fancy house, but you could buy a house, you could buy 10 medium-sized cars, and we paid that much in 1 year for vetting bills. Okay, here's a story of one of our pets, and this little pet, Mercy, came to us, heartworms, a broken leg, and something wrong with its eye. So it was treated for all of those things. One eye was removed, okay, and then she had therapy to try to fix her leg. It didn't heal, it had to be amputated. So this poor little guy, then the eye problem went to the other eye and had to have that eye removed. So Mercy could not see, was blind and had 3 legs. And that foster mom adopted them. Mercy, she loved him so much, but her husband kept saying, do you think, and she didn't tell her husband she adopted. Her husband thought they were still fostering. Don't you think somebody's going to adopt Mercy? She said, oh no. but you fall in love with them. So, how do, besides people calling or emailing and saying, I need to get rid of this animal because of the behaviors, here's some other situations. Now, sometimes we have a mother who can't feed her pups. So sometimes she's sick. One time we had a litter of 8 and the mom couldn't keep up milk production, and so we would take some of those pets, and so some of our volunteers have stayed up, gotten up 4 times a night every 2 hours to feed, to baby bottle and take care of these pups. So these boxers were in that situation. And here's another one. This is a few years ago. These pets, there are a lot of kill shelters in the South, Texas, Louisiana. We get emails all the time saying, will you help us please transport? Can you take any of these pets? They're going to be euthanized tomorrow. And so we just have lists every day of that. And so we did have our director and another volunteer got a van and drove down to Texas and brought back a mom and 10 pups. But unfortunately, on the way back, the vet called and one of the pups had got parvovirus, which is almost always lethal, and they did save most of that. And it is a long story, but we have developed a team of volunteers with Paws that are able to treat parvovirus. So we have some homes where they're giving subcutaneous injections and they're taking care of these puppies, and we have a pretty good survival rate. And even like the Rescue Humane Society will call us and say, we've got a parvo pup, can you take care of it? So we've been able to do that. Here's another example of a dog, and here's a really big one who was just fading away. She was in the back of the kennel, very anxious, wouldn't come out, and not aggressive, but just scared. And so we took her in, and she went into a foster home, and with that love and attention really grew into a great pup. Okay. Sometimes dogs come to us because their owners die, their owners are sick, their owners are going into facilities where they cannot take the pet with them. So in this case, on the right, the little white dog, that's my foster fail. And we call it a foster fail because we're fostering a pet and we decide we can't give up the dog to go to a different adopting family, that we're going to keep the dog. So in this case, Chelsea was in a home, the husband had died, the wife was going to move into assisted living and couldn't take the pup with her, and it was sad. So I went, my husband and I spent 2 hours just talking to her and petting and promising that we would keep sending pictures of Chelsea to her. So I like to think of it not as a foster fail, but as a foster success, because we want our pets to go to loving, dependable homes, and I think she did. Okay, and this is a story of a little tiny kitten, and she was caught in the blades of an air conditioning unit, and the serviceman called a vet. The vet referred to Muddy Paws, and we took in Kiki, and that was one of those situations where the volunteer was up every 2 hours just with that baby dropper, just feeding this little kitten. So she was adopted out to a family, it was fine. Okay, a lot of times we get stray animals that come to us. So here's a picture of a kitten who weighed 1/3 of a pound, but went into a home and got along really well. The other way we get pets, and I won't spend a lot of time with this, is just from puppy mills. And so when dogs, cats can no longer breed and are no longer profitable to the owners of the puppy mills, they might contact a rescue and say, you can have this pup. And we get some dogs that are in really bad condition. Usually the teeth are bad, the paws, they haven't ever really walked on the ground before because they live in wire cages. We had one situation where a dog, a beautiful dog, but she had never been treated by the vet, and whoever had this puppy mill, there were stillborn puppies inside of her, and they just sewed her back up, and so she came to us really sick because there were dying pups in her womb. So, again, last year we spent over $377,000 on vet bills. So, if we're nonprofit, how do we have money come in to help us? Okay. So sometimes we have events and some fun things that happen. You can do yoga with puppies. If you've ever heard of yoga with goats, we can actually team with a yoga studio, and while people are exercising, they get puppies to walk on their back and come and lick their hands, etc. We do tails and trails. We've had ice cream cruise car show. I think this month, I don't participate, but there's a haunted manor where some people can pay and go stay overnight and enjoy a paranormal experience. And they pay to do that. We have all kinds of different events that anytime somebody will connect with us, we will go and be a part of that. Nebraska Furniture Mart, and probably November, December, we'll have different organizations come. We can wrap packages for people and get some donations that way. Here's a little gal over here, and she asked for a birthday present for her party. Instead of having gifts for herself, she asked if people might bring pet supplies. And this little gal over on the right, one of the Omaha schools did passion projects for the 4th graders, and they can choose something and they can research that item, and then she chose to do a fundraiser afterwards. She sold candy at school on Friday afternoons and donated $374 to Mighty Paws. Omaha Gives in November is a really big day for us. Sometimes people write grants. This happens to be my daughter. She was at Yahoo, and 2 different times she's written a $5,000 grant to Yahoo, and they have funded it. So that has been wonderful. Okay, and I talked, some of you were in here, some of you missed it, but I talked about the suggested donation fee when you adopt one of our pets. And that is a way quite a bit of money comes in. We are placing over 300 some pets a year into homes, so we have a pretty good adoption rate going. Okay, so that would be the formal part of the presentation. I did answer some questions beforehand. If you have a few questions now, I'd be happy to answer. Look, you have a question? Oh, I know, kind of the same way people get eye infections. So, hands are dirty, you get something in your eye, you don't have it removed, just get germs in there. So. You don't want to put anything in your house, right? Question?
How do you know if a dog's eye is blind?
How do you know if it's blind?
Yeah.
Okay, well, just like with people, but people will tell you they can't see anything, you take them to a vet, the vet shines light in their eyes, and they can see the inside of the eye, and they can tell you what's going on there. So. Other questions?
Can you tell us again about the costs? Because I think some of the people weren't in here when we first
so
talked about them.
the cost, and I said it's typically less than a pet store, probably less than a reputable backyard breeder or a puppy mill, but we still, when you adopt from Mighty Paws, you're not just paying just for that dog, you're also helping support animals in the community because we have the food pantry for people, we offer some vet care, so I'll start with the cheaper ones first because seniors are great, right? We all love seniors. Please say yes and stand. Okay, so our senior dogs are typically around $200 to $300. Okay, and then you have your young or your adult dogs that might be 5 to 8 years old. So adult dogs typically, let's say $300 to $500, and then puppies. Puppies, everybody wants a puppy, and they are the most expensive that you can adopt. Typically, they can be anywhere from $400 up, and the designer breeder puppies, I think the most expensive one I saw listed one time was $1,200, and that was one of the doodles. It might have been a sheepadoodle. Some of the rarer breeds, like King Charles Cavalier, we've had only a few of those, and any of the really popular brands, when they come in, they get lots of applications, and then the team goes through to find the best family for those. Most of our dogs are not purebred, okay? Because we're in the process of just getting pets into homes, and we don't carry AKC papers on any of them. Do we have some? Yes, because there are some owners for all the reasons we talked about, lost a job, divorce, getting transferred to another location, can't take my pet with me, etc. So there are owners who relinquish their purebred dogs, and we have some of those. So, well, the other pet that's really popular, Maine Coon cats, and I mean they're huge. And, so we've had a few of those, not a lot. So, okay, other questions? Sure. For a minute? Okay.
What is like the worst, like, injury you have had with a rescue animal?
Okay. I usually don't get in on those, but our director, she gets called in the middle of the night all the time. So if pets are run over by cars or something, they will take them to the vet and then they will call her to come. So, I mean, I would say mostly that kind of trauma. We've had a couple other pets where like teenagers in the home thought it would be fun to throw the puppy around. Yeah, and so we had a puppy that came in with 4 or 5 broken bones. And so the parent, thank goodness, said, I'm not keeping this pet in the home. My kids are just too reckless, and brought the pet to us and we took care of it.
Have you had any gunshot wounds on it?
Not that I know. Okay, not that I know.
Why does this ring
Is it shaky?
Yeah, something. Just don't worry about it.
That's a technology question. Okay.
How much does it cost to adopt?
I think, pretty good. Okay, cats, I think, are typically 75 to 125. And again, based on the kittens are usually more. But I think if you buy 2, it's 225. So you get, like, if it's a $125 pets would be $250 each, but if you buy them together, it's $225. So buy 2. They're small. Yes. Okay. How do cats get run over? You know, it could happen to other pets, it could happen to children if you're not following safety. So I always make my grandson look both ways before he crosses his way, but we don't do that. We can't tell cats and dogs. So and he still got run over? It was on a leash or broke away off with the leash? Yeah, so if you're walking your pet on a leash, be sure the leash is secure and that it's not going to break and that you're holding it tightly. You have great questions. Okay?
How many foster homes do you have, and if someone is interested in fostering, what do they need to?
Great question. I do not know how many foster homes we have. I think we have 275 pets in the rescue right now, but some of those are litters of kittens, so they're in one home. So I'm not sure how many foster homes. Foster homes are always a big thing. If you're interested in that, you can go to our website, and you had a paper with the Mighty Paws Second Chance Rescue out there, and there's a place where you can click for volunteer, and we ask that you fill out an application. Lots and lots of volunteers, not just fostering, you can do all those other things. You can help from your home here on the computer, so fundraisers, uploading vet records, processing applications, home visits, etc. Lots of other people can help.
Are a lot of the foster homes like farther away, or are they around?
Okay. What we do ask, if you're fostering a pet, we usually have 2 meet and greet activities a month. So we ask that you would bring the pet or get someone else to bring the pet to those events so they get exposure and people could decide they would like to adopt a pet. So if you fostered and lived in Harlan, we would still ask that you, most of those in for Council Bliss or Omaha, that you would bring the pet 2 times a month if out to meet people.
So Trudy, on your website, is that the best place, or Facebook, to see what pets are available?
Okay, I would say the best way, if you go to our Facebook, or go to our website, then you can, it says available pets at the top, you click on that, and you scroll down, and you can indicate pet type, you want to look at cats or dogs, or rabbits, or some other animal. What breed are you interested in? So if you use those filters, like yesterday somebody said, I want a German Shepherd dog, mine passed away, I want a black one, I want a male. And I said, okay. So I just went to the page and I filtered through and I found 3 dogs that matched that description. So if you just use those filters, you can see the kind of pet you're interested in. We do have a public Facebook page, Muddy Paws Second Chance Rescue. And on that page, frequently you'll see posts of pictures of the pets that are around. And I'll be here for a few minutes yet, so if you have a question you want to ask me, please feel free. And want to tell them what to do next.
Sure, then let's just give her a round.
Thank you for the donations that people have brought. Appreciate that.
We appreciate you coming all this way.
Yeah.
Because today is National Feral Cat Day, and this month is Adopt a Rescue Dog Month. So kind of a great time to be having this event, and we're glad you all joined us. So the kitties that we do have today, we have pictures of them, well, 4 of them. Do you have extras on the board?
Well, 2 are litter mates of Stash, and
Okay, but they're not ones that are here today.
they're not here,
Okay.
but they are up for adoption.
Okay, they're up for adoption. Okay, so these kitties are actually coming from Christy. So she has her own adoption form that if you are interested in, you can fill out, and then she will contact you if she has more questions. So no kitties are going home with anyone tonight, but we will do that. Could you just raise your hand and tell me if you are interested in meeting a kitten tonight, so we have an idea if it's everybody or most everybody? It's good to know. All right. All right, well, feel free to come ask Trudy more questions. She's going to be here for a few minutes. I'm going to kind of ask, I think I'll have, were the Kellys interested? You guys were interested or not in meeting the meet and greet for the kittens?
It's up to them.
Okay. Why don't you guys stay behind, and Jackson, you guys want to stay?
Sure.
Okay. We'll have those 2 families start, and then if everybody else wants to go into the other room, if you'd like to join us, we'd really like help making toys for cats and dogs. Thank you all for coming.